Premer.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being attentive. I appreciate it. So there's some familiar faces in the crowd, so that's really awesome. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome to this. I'm really humbled to be was asked to speak for this, and this is an exciting topic for you, right? But it should be. And so hopefully I'm going to provide you some knowledge that you can use today. That'll give you some room to think, and then also just to ensure that you have some stuff going forward that's going to make you a better athlete, a better person, better family, whatever it might be. Okay. So injury prevention, peak performance, and everything in between. We're going to touch everything. So before we start, my bias is I'm a chiropractor at Winchester Spine and Sport, right? So that's what I do Monday through Friday, sometimes Monday through Saturday. It's what I live and breathe. It's what I was born to do. It's literally my calling in life. I do it for free if I could. If you guys need to get a hold of me, if you have any questions, if you want a job shadow, if you just are concerned about your health, whatever it might be, my email's right here. It's just my first and last name at Gmail. Otherwise, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me. It's just Dr. Taylor Premer, all in words. So let's get rolling. Okay, so I got some terrible pop culture references in here. If you're too old, don't laugh. But laugh at some of my jokes, please. Okay. So what movie? Someone over here said it first. Who was it? You? Is it you? Medium or large? Nice. So there's free stuff here. So if you just pay attention, there's some free stuff. We got some bags, some other swag. Okay, so pay attention. Stay up here. So who am I? So I'm a chiropractor, right? So that's what I do day in and day out. I'm obsessed with a lot of things, but I really care about making sure that my athletes succeed. So one of my fellow colleagues here, Brandon from Troy. I do 2 days a week at Troy, where we basically work through difficult cases, people that we think may or may not need surgery, that it's Thursday and they need to play on Friday. What can we do for them? And that's really fun because you never know what's going to walk in the door, and you never know what type of cool stuff you're going to see, right? And then I also do a little bit at Silex as well. And so those are kind of my silos. Doesn't mean I don't care about each and every one of you, though, okay? So that's not there. Okay, so I was an athlete too. I was just mediocre of an athlete to be on the field and to start, but not to be in the paper, okay? So I played football. I was lucky enough I won a state championship in Nebraska, so I got to play on University of Nebraska's stadium, which was just amazing, in front of hundreds of people, so that was really cool. Wrestling was my second sport, and then golf is my all-time favorite. So again, I loved human performance. I love seeing what I could do out of this, again, mediocre athletic body, to see what we could do to make things happen. So this is kind of my team now. This is Winchester Spine and Sport. This is my staff. I came from Nebraska for these people right here. They're really important to me. They get me excited to come to work every single day. We have 5 chiropractors, 4 trainers, 2 functional medicine doctors, and a bunch of front desk staff and support staff that I literally think that this is the best place in the world to get treated. So that's my bias. Okay, so my why. So why am I here? Why am I talking to you all? So my goal in life is to provide the student athletes the best possible musculoskeletal diagnosis and manual therapy so you can succeed on and off the court, field, whatever it might be. Okay? And then to be an advocate for my patients. Right? To be an advocate not only for the patients that I have in my office, but for the people in the community, for my family, for the people around me. To make sure that they have options in the healthcare system, and to make sure that they get in the right silo in the healthcare system, to make sure that they feel like they're taken care of. That's my ultimate why. So if you guys need any of that, please seek me out. I would love to help you. Okay, so here's our outline today. So we're going to talk about injury prevention. We're going to talk about diaphragm, joint centration. Those are big words, but it'll all make sense in a second. We're going to talk about training philosophy, what to do in the gym to make you a better athlete. We're going to talk about hurt versus harm, knowing when to go see a healthcare provider, or when to sit it out, or to tape it up, or put some ice on it, whatever it might be. And then we're going to talk a little bit of essential lifestyle habits to make you a little bit better athletes. Okay? So what we know, there's only one validated predictor of injury. Who knows it? For a bag, come on. How do we know if you're going to get injured?
Do not like stretching.
Not stretching, maybe.
How much sleep?
Sleep? That's a good question. That's a good answer. Good answer. How about this? Okay, so this is the big long paper. This is the hallmark. This is what really put it into perspective for me. The only thing that we can use to predict injury is previous injury. Isn't that crazy? No MRI, no X-ray, no image, no movement screen, nothing like that. All we know is that if you had a previous injury, you're more likely to have another injury. Crazy, right? Okay, so what that means is you have ACL surgery, you're just as likely to have another accident in the same knee. You sprain your ankle, you're liable to sprain both your ankles. Okay? You pull your hamstring, you're liable to have the same side hamstring happen again plus knee injuries. It's kind of scary, right? It's a little bit freaky. But this is exciting as well, because that means that we can mine information for you. We can take your previous injury history. We can take your likelihoods. Maybe you roll your ankle a lot. We can then try to stack on stability and stack on stuff in your brain to make sure that you don't do it again. Right? So this is what gets me excited. This is what wakes me up in the morning. This is what gets me excited to go hang out with Brandon at the high school. It's because we can mine information from your previous injuries and have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen to you in the future. Okay, so that makes me a little bit of a mind reader, but it also puts a little bit of stress, right? Yeah, right. Making sure that kids don't go through the same stuff. But this is as scary as this is a good thing. It's a really good thing. Okay, so what are we trying to avoid? KD, you got it. What happened to him? Ah, nice. There you go. Perfect. What about who's this up in the top corner? That's a little difficult to see. Who's this? Yeah, who said it? Nice. Ian? Okay. What about down here? It's difficult to see. Usain Bolt. Yeah, nice. So what's crazy about all of these stories, RG3, what happened to him 2 weeks prior? Tore up his ankle, right? His right ankle. Sprained his knee. 2 weeks later, he comes back. Look at that. You can't really see it, but he's got a big old brace on his right knee. Think that stopped him from tearing his ACL?
No. It only stops.
Yep. What about KD? What happened to him?
Ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah, he ruptured his Achilles, but he'd been nursing a calf strain for the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, and the name.
Little mismanaged, right?
Yeah.
Calf strain should not take 3 weeks to heal. Okay? So a little bit mismanaged. We can put that on the trainers, whoever you mind, the doctors around him. What about Kobe? This is the best example I have.
Ooh, Achilles.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles, right? Well, what happened to him in the first quarter?
He got hurt again.
He did.
And then he went back out there.
Right, he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
He came down weird on his knee, sprained his knee up, and then later in the fourth quarter, he tears his Achilles. Crazy, right? So see how we can draw parallels to what happened to you previously and have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen down the road. Now, it's not to say that Kobe shouldn't play, right? Maybe someone should have told him to take a break. Maybe KD should have got a little bit better treatment. Maybe Usain Bolt should have, maybe called it quits before this. Whatever it might have been. All we're saying is that we can use information to then predict and make good indications on whether or not you should play, whether you should sit it out, whether you should stretch, whether you should run, whether it might be. Okay? What can't we avoid? Freak accidents, right? Things that just happen. My best example of this is I was treating a kid from Silex pitcher, and he'd been having shoulder issues. We kind of rehabbed him back. He was playing great. He was supposed to start in his in the Final Four game. Day before the Final Four game, in the batting cage, trips on a bat, breaks his ankle. Brutal, right? Brutal. When I got that text message, my heart sank. But it happens, right? Sure, you could say, yeah, if I would have moved the bats, maybe you should have been a little more careful. All those things, but it happened. Right? So was that because of his training, because of his shoulder injury? No, that was just a freak accident. It just happened. Wrong place, wrong time. You're on the football field, you get sideswiped, you tear your ACL. Sucks, right? Not a lot you can do. Again, what we're trying to avoid are these things, where there's nobody around you, and stuff happens. Right? So what can we do about it? I think, this is mine, we can provide the best possible environment for everything to happen right? To eliminate as many variables as possible to make sure that your health isn't in jeopardy, and in turn, everything's taken care of, right? If a freak accident happens, it happens. We'll deal with that when it comes up. But if we can put you in the best place possible, we can make stuff happen. Now, I chose Tiger here, which is kind of ironic because he didn't really put himself in the best positions in life or on the course. But that's all right. I still love him. Okay, so now let's get excited. Things we can do. So if we could teach the world one thing It would be how to breathe correctly, which is kind of crazy to people when I tell them that, but it's so true. So where does the diaphragm sit? Someone over here. Come on. Who's got it? Oh. Where's the diaphragm at? Where's it at? Yeah, there you go. Nice. There you go. Nice. Yes, it's right under your ribcage. Okay? So if you've taken anatomy or any biology classes, right, what do you learn about it? Oh, it just assists your lungs in breathing. In reality, this is your untapped tool right now that you could use to make you a better athlete and to have less pain overall. So if we are utilizing our diaphragm correctly, we can actually use it to create massive pressure in our stomach, in our abdominal wall. Why that's important is because if you look at Ronaldo right now, if we took his shirt off, no drools, right? We would see him creating massive pressure outward. You wouldn't see his sweet six-pack that you see on GQ or anything like that. You'd actually see him doing the opposite of having a six-pack, pushing his abdominal wall out completely. That's what allows him to explode his hip flexor off of his abdominal wall and be the best striker in the history of soccer, right? He might not be the best soccer player, but the best striker. He's one of the best. No different than who's this? Yeah, who said it? Yeah, nice. I like it. Nobody gets that. Okay, Noel Ryan had the best career of basically any baseball player, right? Any pitcher. You could argue that he actually threw harder than anybody, harder than Chapman, harder than anybody else because of modern radar and stuff like that. But he always respects this right here. That's why his shoulder held up for, it seemed like 30 years he was in the league, didn't it? That's why you never hear him getting hurt. He also threw a mean right hook. You haven't seen that, but anyway. So why this is important though is because it allows us to set the stage. If we don't have this right, and we throw a baseball, we kick a soccer ball, we basically it's like shooting a cannon off of a canoe. What happens? Yeah, not good, right? Yeah. Versus if you have a big sturdy boat, you're shooting that cannon off of, good things are going to happen, right? You're not going to have collateral damage, okay? So, but this is the opposite of having a six-pack, right? How many people in here wear a weight belt when they work out? Hopefully, right? What's it for? I already told you. Right. Creating pressure, pushing your stomach outward so that your spine has stability. It's not to protect your back by just having it on. You actually want to fill that area. Okay? So what we do in our gym is we actually replace all our weight belts with these things. They're core 260. They're elastic, and then they have these little beads that you can kind of put in areas that you need to pressure. So check this out. So it goes right around your stomach, belly button. You can push it. Just share it. No. Just pass it around. Just pass it around. Okay, so man, that was awkward. Okay, so that's what we use as the difference between a weight, right? Because we really truly believe that this is so important. It's no different. You can make parallels across anything. However, it's different than a brace, right? How many people have been told it's like you get punched, right? What's the problem with that? Does anybody play golf in here? I know Robert does. Right? So, what happens when you play golf, right? Do you have a massive abdominal wall and you swing like this? No, you have to separate your rib cage from your pelvis. Just like in baseball, if you're going to throw. We can still create pressure here. It's different than a brace, though. Okay, so that's what your first takeaway is. Create pressure, not a brace. All right? So, this is kind of what we're looking at. So, this is like if somebody took it and chopped me in half with a samurai sword, right about here. Okay, so this is our vertebrae. The red thing right here is transverse abdominis, internal oblique, external oblique. These are your rectus abdominis. All these muscles matter. We're creating hoop strength around here so we protect our spine. And then all of the slings in front of our body and on the back of our body can explode as we're throwing the ball, as we're blocking someone, as we're playing golf, whatever it might be for your sport. Okay, now our next point, joint centration. So joint centration is basically, if we look at the shoulder right here, okay? So this is a decentrated joint. So in other words, this muscle up here, so this would represent supraspinatus, so it sits right here, okay? This would represent more of like the subscapularis or infraspinatus, right? So this is really tight. So what's your gut instinct? What should we do to that muscle? Stretch it, right? Maybe, right? But what if the brain is just not stabilizing this joint correctly? In other words, it's up-regulating tension here and down-regulating here. Okay? So instead, what we should probably do is teach the brain hey, this muscle's tight. We need to stabilize it a little bit better by using all of the muscles, right? And then we'll get something that looks like this. No different than if you have a pulley system. If you pull too much on one side, right, the other side goes long, tight, long, tight. So it makes sense, yes, to just stretch these muscles. But what happens if you have a chronically tight muscle and you stretch it? What happens 10 minutes later? It's tight again, right? That's your brain saying, hey, bro, we have a stability problem. Something's not right here. I'm just going to keep making this muscle tight until he does something about it. Well, what happens when you have chronically tight muscles over and over and over again? Think back to Duran's calf.
You get hurt.
Yeah, things happen, right? So don't ignore your warning signs. If you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and having the same result, what's that called? Stupidity, right? Okay, so this is my favorite example of joint situation. Anybody play tennis in here?
No, but I love to watch.
Yeah, nobody plays tennis? No tennis player, okay. So the difference between Federer and Nadal and Djokovic is that Federer has had a better career, a longer career, and less injuries. So why I think that is because if we watch him, do you mind hitting the light actually? Look at his barrel of stability right here, number one, right? And then watch his shoulder blade being perfectly stabilized as he's getting ready to hit here. This is a perfect example. So he doesn't have over tightness in one area and less in the other. He's using